It's Wednesday at 2 and I'm live. And today we are going to talk about the Flowers for You Stamp of the Month set. This stamp set is the stamp set for May. And it has several fun little things in it that I thought I would show you. There has been a lot of artwork from consultants using this set. As usual, you know, the stamp of the month is always popular, but there's just a few little tips that I wanted to share for this one, and I want to share a little bit of artwork. So my first thought on it was, not another folk art set. Hi. But after I've used it and I realize I can make some really cute cards that take no time flat, I'm liking it more and more. So I even used it for the Mother's Day card for my mother-in-law. Just a second, let me get a drink here. Okay. Today I'm sort of on my own, and so my dog is wandering around, and so you may see him in the camera. Every now and then he gets jumpy during these. I don't know why. Anyway, hi Stephanie. Hi Heather. So this stamp of the month, the interesting thing that I wanted to show you is that the 3-inch die fits around this image perfectly, and so almost 100% of the artwork that I have seen by consultants has put this into a circle cut with the die. Or if you have one of those humongo old mega Marvy paper punches that are 3 inches, boom, there you go. So I just wanted to show you, this is the circle stamp set or die cut set that's in the catalog right now. Close to my heart, had not had one for a little while, but this is really nice. It has 5 dies, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. And of course this particular image requires the largest 3-inch die. Or the interesting thing to me is if you own the circle shaker, which a lot of people did buy the circle shaker set, this is a 3-inch die. So it's identical to this one. So you already have a 3-inch die if you have the circle shaker. And the other thing is, if you own this circle shaker, is that you have this cute little border that you can use as a little, almost like a little frame for this stamp set. I think, don't quote me, but I think I have a piece of art to show you with that. I meant to make one. If I didn't, I apologize. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that because, you know, that is $12.95, which is a great deal for 5 circles, and I use my basic shapes and circles all the time. So let me show you a few things here made with this. This card right here is just that image punched with the 3-inch die, and I had a scalloped die that was about that size too, a different brand, and so I just went ahead and cut that as a border, and then used the happy birthday words. So this one used a lot of dies, essentially. I have this die, which is that kind of scallopy, to me it almost looks like a baby blanket kind of background, lattice kind of background. You can see how that looks. And then when the holes are punched, I put a little piece of that sapphire blue behind this die so that the holes would pop through as colored blue. I hope that makes sense. And then there are several words in this. You inspire me, just keep smiling, just because, happy everything, happy birthday, thankful, and love. And that love, I'm going to use it with that VW Bug. I just think it's perfect for that. So I think that actually several of these are perfect for that. It also has these little tiny speckles, which you'll see that I used on several projects. These little teeny tiny speckles are missable when you first look at the stamp set, and they fit on a 1-inch block, and so they can make a little background. This little flower right here is real small too, which would make a nice background or a border. Okay, so that was my first card. The second card is this one, and basically I had leftovers from Eat, Play, Love, which you may notice. So the background is the plaid yellow, and then I used that 3-inch circle and my scallopy cut again. And these are just scraps. This is that red sticker from the sticker sheet. I still had it left over. I used the little tiny dots, that little dot stamp. And the way I got the 2 different colors of yellow on there is when I took my stamp, I rolled it, I inked it up in Canary, and then I rolled it in Sundance. And so that brighter orange around the edge is actually a second ink color. Cool. There's that border. So with the shaker, so here's sage, and I just did tone on tone with this giant stamp right here across the bottom, so I wouldn't have to color, because you know I'm so lazy. And then the little sentiment, and then I just popped that up on a little foam, the little image, but it's basically the 3-inch circle plus that border die around it. And I think that kind of sets it off. That makes it look really nice. And then you don't have to have a bigger circle to make an edge. This one, excuse me, I had leftover from paper from that Cheerful Humor set. This paper is so fun. On the front, it's this orange kind of arrows and stuff, and on the back, it's that really cool rainbow print. And so I thought this one was really fun. And this one I actually inked up, I sponged ink over a piece of paper and then cut it out and then stamped in black the big circle flower. So I just sponged that paper to start with. So that turned out really cute. And that Sending Sunshine little circle right there, that one is from the on the same page as the circle die. There's another set. So this is on page 39. Here's the new circle set that I showed you. And then just next to it is the Spot On Sentiments, and they're 1 inch. They're just 1 inch circles. And so I wanted to try out my new 1 inch circle die, and I cut out several of those, stamped and cut out several of those, so that I would have just a little something to put on there. And these are just scraps. Okay, and this card, I actually colored. I actually think it's my favorite. I like the colors of it. So I dug into my stash, and I had this black and white stripe left over. You know, I had a lot of those black and white papers. I keep showing them over and over again. If they come up again, I'm going to buy more, because I'm at the point where all I have left are little scraps like this and not many. So you won't see them again until Close to My Heart comes out with more for me. But here is that little Just Because, and that one big stamp set across the bottom that I colored using markers. And then I used my sponge and a little ink at the top to make it blue like the sky. I hope that shows up. But I just thought that one, to me, that one's really bold and stunning with the black on it. So, all right. Now, scrapbook pages. I have a couple to show you. I may have to raise my camera a little bit for this one. Let me just mess with my camera a little so that you can see it. You know what? This stamp of the month surprised me because I did not think that I would like it so much, but now that I've played with it, it's really neat. Look, this is that Eat, Play, Love paper pack, and this is so simple. I had just a few scraps left of this, so I just did a center of like 6 or 7 inches. I used a couple of the zip strips, and up here in the corner, I used this stamp right here, which to me looks like, I don't know, every time I look at this, I think of that Venus flytrap or something. It just looks creepy to me, or a big eye. But when it's stamped, it looked really cute. So I stamped it twice. I did not have to mask it. You may notice that little tiny dots that I put on here, I did them in Lemonade, which is a really light color. I can see them in person just fine, but you know, on camera, sometimes that stuff doesn't show up. So at the bottom, I just stamped in Lagoon that big stamp set. I stamped it 2 times. This is like once, twice, and then I just stamped a little bit, you know, off the edge. So just to make it even or whatever, I started in the middle and then stamped it on each side, but you can see how that looks. And that's just not colored in or anything. That page, this page literally took me less than 5 minutes to make because I just used my scraps. The hardest thing was this, I cut out this little flower out of a PML card that I had left. So, ta-da! I thought that looked nice. Moose, leave her alone. Ugh. The cat. I don't know if you heard my siren in the background. Okay. Can I just say that black and white is spectacular? I mean, really love this layout. I hope you can see it well. I don't know if it's showing all over, but I did essentially the exact same thing over here with that giant stamp set, our giant border stamp, and I just stamped it, inked it up, stamped it, and inked it up, and just did like a little bit on the end. It turned out just beautiful. I did a few of the little dots here again, exactly like the other page. I did 2 of those. This time I fussy cut them because I wanted them to overlap and I'm too lazy to make a mask. And then the 3-inch die with the giant circle. I think this one turned out really, really cool. And I was kind of messing around with this because what I thought would be really neat is it'd be very easy to just add one color to it. I mean, just imagine if you added purple or red or whatever to this layout. And I was kind of looking at, I made this so I could slide my photo under. I have some photos of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen allium before, but I love these, and I think these are like, I think they're 4x4. I don't have my measurer out today, but you may not realize it, but for the mats, I made a black border and a white border, and I put it on foam tape so that there would be a little hint of a shadow underneath those mats, and that white on white looks so cool. I am really happy with how this one turned out. So I just need to trim this down, and I will have like a smaller photo there, and then I'll just take my, I'll look at this and decide which area I want here. And look at that. Isn't that a great page? And how cool would it have been if I would have even taken this grape color and made a real small third mat. I could have added a single color to it and it would have looked really cool there. Or I could use black and white prints. I mean, how fun would this be? But this, to me, this is just stunning, and it is black and white. I mean, who would have ever thought? And so this was a fun one for me. Okay, so for today though, I want to show you how to make this card. So I think that these cards are sweet. I made them open to the side. They're a little messy. That's why I have my all-purpose mat out here. But you could use anything. You could use wax paper. You could use a paper plate that's a little bit waxy for your surface. And the other thing, so this is just black ink stamped onto this really fun modelly watercolory background. So to make the I want to show you how I made the watercolory background. Okay, I think that's so cute. Those were just with some scraps I had left over. So what I did was I took 3 colors of ink, okay, canary, smoothie, and avocado. And I have this old, this is a spritzer pen that Close to My Heart used to sell. I don't think there's any more, there's a spritzer pen in the catalog right now. Maybe I'm wrong. There might be there was a spritzer bottle for a while. But I just have this pen filled with water, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our ink pad, this is canary, and I'm just gonna smash it onto here and make like a little area. And then I'm gonna take smoothie and I'm gonna make a little area like that. So it's hard to see, but there's ink there. And then I'm gonna take avocado and do the same thing. Smush some ink on. Now then I'm gonna spritz it with water. And all this does is make it it makes it super watery so that it's kind of blotchy looking. This is just normal White Daisy cardstock. You could use watercolor paper, but basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap it down like this, and it's going to, if you do it too much, it turns into mud. So you don't want to do it too much and make it mud. But this is nice. And so then I'm just going to take my paper towel, wipe this off. If you were using a wax paper or something, you could just wad it up and toss it aside. I mean, that's a pretty easy background for a card. Now this has to dry. Now that you can tell this is really wet. See how much it's curling and stuff? This has to dry. And I do have a heat tool that I did not turn on today. I don't know why, because that would have been make more sense. But while that dries, I'm just gonna kind of help it dry a little bit. I am going to, I have some scraps here, and you know the paper is two-sided, so one side is pink. I think this is flamingo, so one side is really pink and the other side is really light. And so you can, this one, let me think, this is smoothie, this is ballerina. I don't have flamingo. Anyway, smoothie and ballerina is what I got there. And then I just have a couple strips here. So all I'm gonna do is take my black ink, and I'm gonna decide which one I think looks best. I think that's too light. I kind of like that one. So I'm just going to stamp the Just Keep Smiling on there. And then I'm gonna put that out of the way. I only need one scrap of black. And then I'm just gonna make a little flag. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the black, but I kind of want the black to be a little longer. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. You know, one thing I've really noticed, I had a huge stash of black for the longest time. And one thing I noticed is that Close to My Heart's black now is like insanely black. It is really, really dark. I love it so much. Okay, so you might notice when I splooshed my paper into the ink, I tried to keep the green at the bottom because when you look at the stamp, the majority of the bottom is leaves and stuff. And so I thought, well, that would look best. Where on this one, I just sort of did it random all over. It still looks fine, but I think it looks better if there's more green at the bottom. This one I like best because there's a lot of white space in it and just a few splashes. And so this is something that, you know, you can play around with. You could do a whole sheet of this and then just play with whatever. I have no idea whether this is going to stamp very well since my paper is still pretty wet, but we're going to try it. All right, so I'm going to ink that up with black. I am going to go ahead and put down a little piece of foam just because the paper, the stamp is so big and the block is so big. And then I can decide where I want that and just push. And I don't want to rock because sometimes you get ink like on the edge, like you might be able to see. I have a little bit of ink on the block right there on the underside. I don't want to transfer that to my card. Let's see if that took. Yay! Yeah, that turned out really nice. Ta-da! Looks really good. And so the only thing I have left then is to just adhere my pieces. And yes, I normally use my liquid glue, but for some reason today I didn't get it out. Let's see. Yeah, I think I want that like that. So I think this turned out really, really cute. And the only other thing that I added to these is just the black dots. I think that little punch of black, bop, 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 like that, I think it really added to it. And those little black and white dots are cheap and you get a lot of them and they go far when you do it like this. So I think that turned out really cute. The other thing I wanted to show you is I also used the little black and white dots on this scrapbook page. You may not be able to see it, but I did use some of the white dots here and here and then down here. So when you look at this page in person, you can definitely see it. And then when you look at it on camera, sometimes you miss those little details or whatever. But I think that turned out really nice. So yeah, it needs the dots, right? I agree. The other thing you could do, if you're really, you know, feeling creative, let me grab this would be like if you're just messing around like we are. So I put some black on here and then use my little spritzer pen, right, and make it really wet. And then I'm gonna just pick that up, that ink with a paintbrush, and you could use any paintbrush. You could spatter it. Now, spattering it works better if your paper isn't wet already because it just sort of went bloop, but that would add the black dots to it also. All right, you guys, that is what I have today. I hope that you like that. If there's anything else you want to see, let me know. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of people have been commenting on the little frame that I made, that I just posted. I may start posting a few more pictures like that, just so that you guys can, you know, see other things that I've been making that I don't show in the lives. And finally, I just want to say congrats to Noelle. Did you guys notice she had her name drawn in the Eat, Pray, Love card making workshop yesterday, and she won the Hooray for You stamps and die cut sets, like $25. So that's a great prize. I love these stamp and die cut sets. And so I just want to say, our group is doing pretty darn amazing getting our names drawn. And so I think our odds of winning are really good, because so far there's so many of us who have had our names drawn, and there's so few of us. So all you have to do, even if you're working or you're busy or whatever, just log on during their event and put a couple comments, put a little heart or two, you know, to like it, maybe share it. And I don't care if you don't want to share it to your page, share it to this group. It's fine. I don't care. You may notice I go through and I clean this group up a little bit so that there's not too much clutter, because I want you to be able to scroll through the wall and find these videos and find ideas and things, and not have to read a lot of stuff that doesn't pertain anymore, you know, like older stuff. So I go through. The scallop is this one. So I have a whole set. Let me grab them. I have a whole set of these scallops. I want to say they're spellbinders, but I cannot remember because they're so old. But basically, they're just a whole bunch of scallops, and I use them with my circles all the time. And they come in, like, obviously lots of sizes. So anytime you find these little things like this, they're so, I don't know, when you go online, they're so boring to buy these basics. But the basics help you make things really spectacularly. I mean, you know, it's like it adds to your cards and stuff. So that's something I just want to point out. You know, it's just like those, you know, the little circle dies. They're boring to buy. I realize that. But if you do not have circle dies or paper punches or whatever that are circles or whatever, you don't realize how amazing it is to have them, because you can use two together and you can make one of the borders like this just by using two of the circles together. Same way, you know, if you find scallops, if you find borders. Stephanie, since you're on, I'll just show you this. I wanted to show you this. Stephanie and I have been making cards with these super weird, elaborate paper punched Martha Stewart borders, and this is an Anna Griffin thing that I bought. But I just wanted to make sure you saw these, because anytime I see these like bordery things and stuff, I tend to buy them because they make a very a simple card have a little something more special. So, all right. Have a good afternoon, everybody, and keep in touch. Show me what you're making. I'd love to see it. Bye-bye.